I normally do the series opening titles before I do all this, but right now my question has become, does this story even have a name? Does it have a series name? I'm guessing it's Hatred of the Sea, but that only popped up once. Oh well, moving on. No, wait. Here's one other question I have to ask myself before I continue. Why Little Mermaid specifically? I get. Mike is doing this to show that not all things end happily, blah, 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 blah. I'm so miserable, yada, yada, yada. My life is an ever-ending ceases of torment, blah, blah, blah. You people don't understand my needs, yada, yada, yada. This is reality, blah, blah, blah. Even though reality really doesn't work like this, because blah, blah, blah. Because one bad thing happened to me one time, and my stupid little mind can't comprehend that other people can be happy, but I gotta be happy because I'm a selfish twit. I get that. But why Little Mermaid specifically? Literally, this could be done with any of the Disney princesses. You could say this about any of them, and this would work just as well. So why Ariel specifically? It, this seems like it's specifically Ariel when, in fact, Megan's usual message is for any of the girls. Hell, if you want to talk about one of the Disney princesses that does nothing to earn her happiness, let's talk Snow White. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, Snow, honey, I didn't mean to hurt your feelings. I just, I'm sorry, guys, but still, Ariel, why not Belle? Why not Mulan or Tiana or Moana? Dang it, if you went after Moana, I swear a demigod would come in and start kicking your ass. Yeah, you got that right. Why not Elsa? Okay, forget it. Elsa's life has been a living hell. She doesn't need Mike, and you keep away from my Ice Queen. Melody was disappointed at not being able to see her grandfather's plan, but in regards to the new threat to the sea, which is a bunch of Sentai villain ripoffs, I can't freaking believe he did that. Need I remind you? She was still allowed to head down to the beach, and her parents did give her permission to swim in the water. Skating, I hope, but only within the boundary line do you sit up using a glowing rope showing where not to cross. Ugh, but no lifeguards. So safe. Today, however, she was really standing out on the terrace, gazing out to sea, while Violet was sleeping and recovering in his little tub of freshly warmed up water. Shouldn't this be courteous since this is not seawater? Her mother came in to show her how her little friend was doing, her little bitty friend. They said nothing as they let Flounder rest. He shared a soft hug, then Ariel picked up Flounder's tub and took it with her so she could look after him herself and give Melody a break. And also to make fish sticks. Poor Flounder. The mother was still very worried about training the Atlanteans, but Ariel insisted on doing nothing about it, especially all alone the last time Morgana attacked. That's right, Dad's in trouble, C might be in danger, but rather than continue aiding, we're just going to stay behind and just say, let them die. Our heroes, ladies and gentlemen. I'll Sebastian in to give you company. Melody didn't feel so fine about that. Sebastian would most likely bore her to death with more of his sour lectures, unless it's a teaching Melody to be a proper princess. Silly, she gazed down from the terrace and saw a young boy walking across the beach. His clothes were different, but Melody recognized his face and hairstyle any place. That was the boy she embarrassed the other night at the ball. Oh yeah, I completely forgot about that in the midst of the entire ocean being in trouble. Melody continued to watch him as he treaded across the sands and over towards the seas on the other side of the reef. She also noticed something shining on the sand where the boy had been walking, as he had dropped something. It was a Dragon Ball. Melody figured that this was her big chance to make up with the boy. It was a good thing she was only wearing her summer swim clothes. Thank you for that image. She decided to head off on her own. No sooner had she left than Sebastian come in. "I think now, John," he said. "Today's next year to be." That was when he realized that Melody wasn't there. "Melody!" And then Sebastian sighed. "That girl is just like her mother. I swear I should retire and look after my three little nephews." Okay, no pony is going to get that reference. They will if they watch Marsupilami like I did. The young boy was sitting inside a cave, watching the waves of the ocean hit the rocks. He was barely snacking on a loaf of dry bread. He looked mighty sad about something, and was humming a sad song. You know, every time Micah describes these sad, depressing sad sacks, he always finds ways to make them ridiculous in their depression. They either turn into lizards to make sure that they don't eat, or are really uber dark and wear little whistles to keep the wolves away. No, not the wolves. The wolves. Or like this, snacking on a loaf of dry bread, looked mighty sad about something and humming a sad song. I would say singing a Linkin Park song, but I have more respect for Linkin Park now. I'm surprised he hasn't had any of them start cutting themselves just to feel alive. "Hello in there," called Melody. The boy turned, surprised to see her. He quickly threw down his bread into his knees and bowed. "Princess Melody," he said, something nervous. "Is this your private place too? My apologies. I'll go now." But Melody stopped to resist it. She wasn't mad or anything. She just wanted to apologize for last night. "It was my fault, Your Highness. I've always been accident prone. And alone." Melody didn't ask the boy his name. Why ever have character interactions when we could just summarize it? "My name is Samuel," he said. "I'm pretty much an orphan." Pretty much an orphan? Yeah, pretty much. I do a little bit. Pretty much. I'm sometimes a risky on the side, so I don't know my last name. "An orphan?" Melody asked. Samuel could tell she was wondering what he was doing at the party last night if he was a commoner. And not rich at that. Okay, you know, considering who Eric is and considering Ariel's character, I can actually see Ariel saying flip, not letting the commoners in, and actually inviting them all in just to celebrate. Only because Ariel's nice like that. Plus, I don't see her confining to the normal princess tropes. Unless you're Disney, in that case, you want to destroy all characterization of any of the Disney princesses whatsoever. How did Moana and the girl and Meridia survive? Samuel explained that his parents died in a shipwreck when they were on their way to live in the kingdom. It was a terrible story. He was the only survivor. He was only 6 years old. "Once I was 6 years old, my mama told me." And he'd been pretty much living on the edge, says, for the past 8 years. The edge of what? Melody thought that was terrible. Samuel tried to explain that he. No! Wait a sec. Before we continue, I am going to now show you guys a magic trick. I'm going to predict exactly what the rest of the paragraph is going to say. I'm not even going to look at my screen. I'm actually going to predict everything. Watch. The people will reject him. He will have to steal a fish to survive, and then some wise old master who is in no way a pedophile is going to find him, take him off the streets, and train him, and then we'll pay him for his fancy clothes. Let's see. They rejected him because he was poor and filthy. No one would feed him. He had to resort to stealing or fisting to the sea. He was starved. A few years ago, he met up with strangers to become his master. So, this old guy comes along, sees a little boy, and offers to give him something, and in return, make him feel really special. Thank you for that. It made me promise I could make a deal. I work for him. He pays me until I have enough time to start anew. That was why he was at the party. His master had let him go, given him enough money to buy those fancy clothes he wore that night. He didn't. His master didn't have any of his own, so Melody felt even sorrier for Samuel than ever. I didn't. Really, because this is reading like a really bad Naruto fic. And believe me, after going through 3 of them, oh yeah. Oh, it's alright, he explained, that he long since begun to lose hope. It insisted that some people can never hope to be a part of another person's world. You know, except all those other stories where people like that are part of their world. You know, kind of like Al. Like sometimes he'll long imagine what it would be like to be rich, live in a palace, never have any problems at all, and Aladdin. What? Part of your freaking story is Aladdin's. The stealing, the losing of the parents. You're Aladdin. No! I'm completely different. I have a master. Right. Just please continue on. Never mind. I've probably wasted enough of your time anyway. Nellie insisted she didn't mind, but Samuel was in the mood to tell her. Of course, as a princess, she could have ordered him to do it, but being taught good manners, he didn't want to. She wouldn't pressure him, and she left. She decided to change the subject. Leave. Well, Samuel thought to see. Leave. To his surprise, Samuel loved it as much as he did. Oh God, we're going to a song cue, aren't we? Had her stories to the merfolk, he always dreamt of meeting. He always seemed aware of Melody's connection to the sea. Still, even if I could meet one, I'm sure I couldn't be part of their world either. Don't blame me for the grammar mistakes! Blame my grammar and spell checker! Okay. Megan wants us to blame the grammar and spell checker? We'll blame the grammar and spell checker. Hey, you piece of shit grammar and spell checker. There is a difference between there, and there. There's a difference between there, They apostrophe re, and Theier and There. Your part of their world is a location. What you are looking for is ownership. I have to say, I've met plenty of spelling and grammar checkers in my lifetime, but you, sir, suck. You suck so freaking hard. And I feel sorry for anybody who uses you. This is why we probably use Google Docs more often. So, there. Melody thought that was nonsense. Anyone could be part of another's world, she said, no matter how different they are. Which we have examined many times in several films, movies, and oh wait, in real life too. I mean, what type of depressing sad sack would actually honestly believe in all this? And I do hope he doesn't have a sad song to sing. Samuel thought her words were sweet, but he couldn't be sure if he believed her. I just don't know, he says. He moved out of the cave and gazed down further into the sea. Oh God, he's about to play part of bastardization part of your world, aren't we? Trixie has no idea, but remember, we are doing Beauty and the Beast next week. You're right. So I need to save all my singing of my favorite Disney songs for later. Alright. So, are we going to start skipping the songs? Uh, give it until, say, a song pops up that has probably the most accurate mic and title in existence. Ooh, Trixie Hikes. But for this, we're just going to start skipping, but I will proceed to provide you a song you guys can sing in the meantime. Allow me to help you. Remember, going with the tune and the melody of this scene, it has to be a very depressing and sad song. So thus, we got a very depressing and sad song for this. I hope you enjoy. Jeremiah was a bullfrog, was a very good friend of mine. I never understood a single word he said, but I helped him drink his wine, and he always had some mighty fine wine, singing, "Joy to the world, all the boys and girls now. Joy to the fishes in the deep blue sea. Joy to you and me. If I were king of the world, I'd tell you what I'd do. I'd throw all away all the cars and the bars and the war, and make sweet love to you. Sing it now. Joy to the world, all the boys and girls. Joy to the fishies in the deep blue sea. Joy to you and me." Melody follows Samuel outside and let them walk the walls together and even tread water as it touched their feet. "Oh, come on, Samuel." In response, she also sang, "Joy to the world, all the boys and girls. Joy all the fishes in the deep blue sea. Joy to you and me." Well, you know I love the ladies. I love to have my fun. I'm a highlight flyer and a rainbow rider. A straight shooting son of a gun. I said a straight shooting son of a gun. Joy to the world. Joy to all the boys and girls. Joy to the fishies in the deep blue sea. Joy to you and me. And repeats that ad nauseum. They gazed out. To their right was the land, to the left was the sea. Two wonderful worlds. They suddenly realized they were holding hands too. They let go and turned away from each other, blessing. "Oh man, this would be a great view if this was a visual medium." But the moment was interrupted with Skull interrupted. "Hey, you see? Looks like someone's got herself quite to catch in a date, huh?" Yeah, because from the description, Samuel looks so handsome. Samuel been better, so ran for it. "Wait, Samuel, will I ever see you again?" "Grandfather, my dear, I don't give a damn." Samuel didn't answer. It was already out of sight. "Well, what got him riled up?" Skull asked. But Melody, quite annoyed for ruining the moment, grabbed a spiral shell that was next to her feet and fitted over his bait like a muzzle. That was kneed to her feet. Once again, grammar, spell check, you really need to amp up your game. I mean, are we sure this is made by people who have experience creating grammar or spell check? Maybe it's Microsoft version 3? I'm gonna say it's Microsoft Word 3. Skull fell to the sand and Melody scooted off. Skull said when it was on his cell, tried to yank it off, but continuously fell over himself. Listen, now that I think about it, why not about it as well? I mean, Mike has seen it. Although, knowing Miken, I'm gonna say favorite villain from the series has to be, Tracy's gonna give him a benefit of the doubt and say Muzzet Wrath. Yeah, he was like a Muzzet Wrath fan. I mean, Muzzet Wrath's awesome. I won't begrudge for that. Samuel watched from behind the rocks of the cave he had met with Melody, and began to realize they were more to the princess than just royalty and upper-class citizenship he had heard of. Why did Melody ever come up with that rap? Then he met two figures, electrician and then Shelikon. He handed him a sack full of shillings. "Sorry for the delay, kid. said the electrician. You better be, Samuel sneered. I had to steal another loaf of bread today because you two were late again. It was dry and tasteless. You couldn't have waited 5 minutes for them to bring in? What, you had to eat every single moment of every single day? Hey, said Angelicon. We would have been here sooner if someone hadn't gotten us lost. Well, excuse me for misplacing the GPS. Oh, it's my fault now, says protested Angelicon, and the two engaged in a splash fight. Samuel thought they were just both pathetic. And then, Samuel, hissed a sinister voice. New paragraph, every speaker. Samuel rolled his eyes and turned back to face the inside of the cave where his master was. Count Aquos was floating in a small pool that had an underground tunnel leading to the sea. You really want to learn to be more forgiving, boy, especially towards your superiors. Samuel paused as he replied, I did what you asked. Can you please go now? I kind of got a party back down with every other badly done Mike and OC. The Count shook his head behind the darkness. I have another assignment for you, my service agent, and it concerns the girl. Right, the torture, the dating, gotcha. Samuel was listening, but he didn't like the Count's plan. But she's just a young princess. She's done nothing wrong. Silence, snapped Aquilus as he blasted the boy with a small tool from his cane. Ah, grunted Samuel. That was a warning. Take heed for the next time my cane flies. You know the penalty for disobedience. Samuel vowed, I'm sorry, boss. I apologize. Knew Aquilus would either dismiss him from his services or force him to live in the streets again with no money, or worse, suffer the ultimate penalty, which was execution. Ultimate penalty. Ultimate penalty. Come on! Count nodded. You are forgiven. But remember, Samuel, you are here because the world outside rejects you. And that Delver the Wire was gone. The two generals finished their quarrel and dove in to catch up with him. Samuel cast his bag of savings and shamed with anger. He hated what he was doing already, but what he was really hate was what he was going to be doing even more. Chapter 4. Strange Mysteries. Later, in the Hall of Doom. Everyone, why are you still using this? You are all second-rate versions of the great villains of the DC universe. And Super Friends has nothing but the second-rate versions of all the great DC heroes, so why are you even here? Oh, I'm sorry. Meanwhile, at Castle Aquos, the whole place was seen to be bustling with stressing seniors. I still can't believe he found a way to put Sentai-like villains into this. I just... The Count was in his master bedroom, sulking in soft but bitter sadness as he once again gazed in the locket he wore around his neck. Oh god, another one. You know, if the bad guys aren't being bland, boring, muhahaha, I'm destroying things, boom, 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 boom. Lousy insults to all great Sentai villains. They're weeping sad sats who are uberly depressed and are so stereotypically emo that I'm half surprised that they don't just start playing on a piano or something. And feeling very so sweaty over towards what appeared to be a large piano made of coral. See, there you go. Shells and other things for the sea. It began to play a soft song of healing. No! None of that. No Legend of Zelda. Yeah, I remind you that I actually love Legend of Zelda, and I'm trying to dissociate everything that I love from this. This includes Sentai, which Megan has a very bad use of the Sentai villains. I mean, granted, he has great taste in Rancic. Although I think he misunderstands Rancic's whole entire story and what makes him a great villain. But, gotta give him credit on Rancic. I'll also give him credit on Astromina, who's also awesome. But then he said that Frieza's a complete idiot, and now I have to laugh. Let me guess. Fahrenheit and Nelina are also bad villains. Plus, again, Mirage and Mozarath, I'm guessing. Plus, Megabyte. Plus, let's see, one other villain to throw in to the mix. Cell. Angelica swam by the Count's chamber on her way to meet the next fleet of men when she heard the Count playing his song and she stopped. She knew that the Count only was playing that song whenever he was feeling down. Ooh. And Angelica hated to see how the Count was upset. So late, the Count hit a flat note. Well, you suck. He got very frustrated. Angelica peeked through the peek of the door. Ugh, this is always getting in my way, growled the Count as he... Oh no. Oh no, 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 no. Oh no. Don't tell me you're going to... As the Count lifted his tail off and away from himself like a costume. It's Master Orc. He's once again flipping off Master Orc. For the second time. Then again, this bozo probably thinks that the Machine Empire is a legitimate threat. But, Trixie, don't you remember what they said that one time in the first few episodes of Zeo? Where Alpha said that the Machine Empire is so powerful and so threatening that Lord Zed and Rhea ran away from them? But there's a problem with that. We later on see that the Machine Empire not only fell into the same traps and tricks that Lord Zed and Rhea fell in under, but if you look at their successes and how many times they've actually done anything of worth, they're weaker than Zed and Rita. You're right. The Machine Empire are utterly pathetic in comparison to Zed and Rita. They barely do jack shit. They got beaten by Zed and Rita, and Zed and Rita show off that they're far more powerful in every single way. The show tried to make them legitimate threats, but they failed. I mean, Zeo's a great series, but they kind of failed in that regard. But, yep, using Master Orc. Does anybody want to put any money that he thinks that Master Vile was also a great Power Rangers villain? Probably one of the greatest of them all. As was Strakina's dad. You know, a lot of the other villains that I kind of put on the loan list. Oh, Detox. Detox. He probably really likes Detox. True. What? Angelica, another under breath. The Count started playing his song again. Angelica knows something about the Count she never had before. 3 nipples? When he ran out to tell Electron, you saw what? I'm telling you, I saw the Count remove his tail. He has tail extensions. What's more handsome? Probably Angelica, and he had legs. And he knows how to use them. You mean like octopus legs? No, human legs. Electron refused it. How and why would it Count Aquos have human legs? Unless there was something more to him than meets the eye. Oh, I get it. He's Sea Spray. To all you Transformer fans in the audience who got that joke, we appreciate your reads. Melody finally had a chance to examine the items she had found in the sand when she was with Samuel. It completely let it slip her mind, but she couldn't bring it to him. For a good time, call Celine at 4:00. Her mother and father brought the lockle to currency to see what he could make of it. Well, I could make a lot of things. I could make a hat, a little sailboat. Yes, he said. I would estimate that this is well over 30 years old. How can you tell? It says so right here, over 30 years old, asked Melody. Currency gave her a small look. It showed her that he had the date card on it. 1814. Oh, Melody remarked. Was the... I need to check something. Okay, I'm back. So I did some little looking and did some research. According to some people's interpretations, Ariel's dress shows that she was born in the 1890s, if not if not then 1980. The same year that the movie was made. Even by going by the different designs of the outfits and the different costumes. So instead, 30 years ago should be 1840 something. Should be 1860 something, of course, if we were to use those interpretations. But since Melody is 16, we need to go to the 1900s, so that's going to be 1870. However, I would like to give Mike credit on this in saying that 1814 is, 20 years off from when The Little Mermaid was made. Yeah, I mean it's kind of interesting when you think about it, because 1837. See, I actually do the research, Mikey boy. Elio, however, was more interested in the picture inside the locket. There were three people. The picture was blurry, a little battered by the wires. One of the three people was blurred. Oh, wait, this thing didn't belong to Sam at all. I mean, look, there's a guy with brown hair, and there's a woman with blonde hair, and they're around two little girls. Frozen reference. We made a Frozen reference. He's no longer surprised by this. But there were two females in the picture as well. See what I tell you. A mother and a daughter. Both of them bared a striking resemblance to Melody. But the daughter obviously had blonde hair and was much younger than Melody. Who are these people? OCs, Ariel. OCs. Eric examined the locket too. I know who these people are. At which point he began to swing away. Langston Grimsby would ask if he would explain. Eric remembered seeing the old photos from newspapers about the people in the locket picture when he was just a boy. So once he was 7 years old. In their kingdom, there used to live a scientist. I think his name was Professor Mike in I think his name was Professor Mike in Aquarius. Mikey, have you ever thought that for a few minutes that maybe people wouldn't call these characters, these little OCs of yours, self-inserts if you just didn't use your screen name? Yes, I know. Professor, I know what you're going to say. Professor Mikan is nothing like you, yada yada yada. Here's the problem. I may have heard this before, but anybody with any smidgen of common sense is going to see your screen name there. And no, I think you just insert yourself. Yes, we all know that Mikan is not your real name. But to a commoner, to a common person who decided to read this story on a whim and has made it to chapter 4 by now, why, you, good sir, and they seem like that Professor Mikan is you. And to the common person, they're going to think it. Why couldn't you use a different name? Why did you have to use Professor Mikan? Are you so limited on names that you had to pick this? I think his name was Professor Mikan. And once again, more Master Orc scenes are incoming. Because as we all know, Master Orc was the pinnacle of Sentai villains. Mesogog, Lord Zed, Rancic, pussies. The Master Orc was the man. The woman in the picture was his wife, Marina, and the girl was Atlanta, Georgia, their daughter. Mikey was a good man, but was he a man's man? Well, he was considered weird among the people living in the land. For many years, Mikey was on the verge of a great discovery. He was trying to discover ways for humans to live in water like mermaids and Merman. He had nothing better to do, plus he was one of those guys that believes that the world's going to end in the next few minutes. How to breathe, see, hear, talk, survive the pressures of the deep, and all other sorts of things. Ooh, like control physics? What ridiculous this is not about, snapped Sebastian. Humans living in the water, it's barbaric. Too bad for Sebastian, everyone else thought it was incredible. Oh, it was fun to some at least. Who's talking? Is that you, Buddha? Some people could just imagine. If humans could survive underwater, they no longer have a fear of drowning. Explorers could venture deeper than ever. And if the world was to become overpopulated, then some people could just live in the ocean. Until we overpopulated the oceans. In which case, I have no idea where we're going to go. I guess we're going to start calling. But what happened? Asked Melody. Her father didn't know. It was so sudden. Because one day, Mike and his family just disappeared dropped off the face of the earth, never to be seen or heard from again. Until recently when he attacked. That sounded mysterious, and somewhat tragic. Chrissy suggested that everyone dismiss any further thoughts. I don't know. 30 years is a long time. Ariel looked over to time to talk about how Melody got the locket. Oh, right, Eric said. I heard someone was walking with a boy on the beach. What have you been doing? Nothing, Papa. Melody felt embarrassed. We just walked, talked, and shared a song. Soon realized what her parents were hinting at, and how Eric first saw Ariel on the beach, and she sang to him. After rescuing him from a sinking ship. Oh no, it's nothing like that, Melody said. I'm gay. Her parents decided not to pressure her, but had a feeling that things between Melody and that kid Samuel were only to get more interesting. Just once, I want to see a gay OC. And I'm not just talking about Mike and I mean for any bad fanfic I have to sit through. Just once, I want to see, an OC that falls in love with one of the female main characters. Like, a female self-insert wanting to go after Sakura's panties, or a male self-insert wanting to go after Luffy. Just once for some freaking sanity and some freaking variety's sake. Sebastian, of course, butted again. Those people in the water. Now a princess with a papa. Sounds classic Disney to me. Then ask you, what's the world coming to? Then he realized that everyone was gone. Thought to me while I talked to myself. How are you, Sebastian? I'm fine, thank you, Sebastian. I repeat. Classic Disney approach. I mean, after all, that's how Tiana snagged Prince Naveen. And how Rapunzel snagged Flynn. Does Kristoff count as a proper? Well, yeah, but but technically Anna isn't that much. It's only a spare comparison to Elsa. Hey, you call Anna spare from Elsa, she will freeze you. Melody had joined to her room. It was relieved that Flounder was much better, as she helped him out with bandages, though he didn't want to return to the sea yet. Those bad guys are still out there, So, how is the war going over there? Is Aquaman coming in to save the day? Is Aquaman protecting the people? Or have we decided things have gotten rough enough and we're bringing in more? Melody hadn't forgotten. She was more than willing at this point to disregard the warnings ahead of the sea No, sorry about that, but trust me, these guys are tough. Right. Which is why we should start bringing in Aquaman, maybe some death charges. Melody didn't intend to break the rules. Still, she wished she knew what was going on and where her grandfather was. I wish that too, but this figure isn't going to be so kind. Suddenly she heard someone else yelling, "Help! Somebody help me!" She dashed down into the terrace and could see Reef, a young girl, who was just like her, but with blonde hair, was floating in the wire, tangled in the seaweed as the wire continued to rush in. She would most likely drown. At worst, there were these strange mutant creatures coming after her. Mom! Dad! Mother! Father! The girl was still in danger. Just as she floated in the water, bounded by seaweeds, the sea mutants were coming closer. Help! She screamed. Get me out of here! Just then Electron and Antelicon appeared. Alright, you little brats. Just come gladly, snapped the electrician. Get away from me, you monsters! The girl shrieked. Angelica waved her staff to make water come in. Angelica zapped her with electrical bolts that really hurt. And when the girl screamed, he just got meaner and rougher. Some days I wonder if Mike purposely writes like a 2-year-old or writes like this is for a 3-year-old program just to piss me off. Just then, the dam broke. Someone let down from the rocks. Samuel! Hey, you couldn't get away from her, he growled. Who's gonna make us, you little shrimp? Snapped Electron. Guys, if I see one more failure to do a basic grammar thing, I'm going to slit my throat. Yes, you are going to hear on YouTube me slitting my throat. Get him, boys. And then Angelica instructed the seniors. Now they were going after Samuel and the girl. Samuel was back to the wall against the rocks, but suddenly Eric came with his sword in hand and battled the two mutants. You two are next, he growled at the generals. Phoenix down. Darn it, Trixie, I was 5 minutes away from my retirement on this thing. Oh yeah? Bring it on. That's when Spider-Man swung into action. He leapt up to the back of Electron, proceeded to beat him on his head. And when Electron was about to fire electricity, she jumped off of it and then swung to kick a Telecon in the face. He then wrapped a web around a rock, throwing the rock right into the Telecon's head. This knocked the Telecon into the sea. Then he swung around, kicking Electron right back into the water. Landing on the rock, he just smirked and said, "Round two. Now have a taste of my Farada missiles," shouted Electron. Sending a field of fire, the sparrows were going too far. It tried to shove Spider-Man out of the way. Spidey just smirked and leapt over the missiles, fired 2 web lines, and threw the missiles right back into the 2 monsters. And then had plenty of time to take a picture and smirk for the camera before swinging back off into the castle. Eric and Samuel would have been buried by the avalanche. Someone save me, SOS. You okay? Eric asked. Samuel nodded. Then he proceeded to help the young girl. As soon as Eric cut the weeds, his sword, the girl ashore, only realized she had a yellow tail. Oh, I thought she was a mackerel. Alien Melody test over. You're a mermaid. The girl looked at her tail and flopped it once on the sand. Last time I looked, she said. Then she realized who she was talking to. Say, aren't you Queen Ariel, daughter of Triton? Well, I guess she's a queen in our kingdom. Ariel nodded. Samuel felt he needed to bow now that he was in the presence of the entire royal family. Your Majesties and Princess Melody. Melody laughed. Samuel! Eric and Ariel figured this was the boy Melody was talking about. They assured him not to act so humble, even if he was a commoner. Finally, a little bit of character in this. The mermaid introduced herself as Anna. She was roughly 10 years old and was searching for someone since she lost when those monsters chased her to the reef. Now she noticed what Melody had in her hand. My locket! She cried for joy. Melody let her have it. Oh, so you let her have it, all right. Yeah, it's as skinny as a girl with a puppy, and even kissed the gold locket multiple times. My mother would have killed me if I had lost it. I do have a just bad feeling where this is going to go, and this is just going to be even more and more stupid. They continued to chat and ask questions, but Ada only knew so much of what was going on. She also didn't remember much of her past life, and only woke up one day to realize she and her mother were mermaids. It happens. And they lived together in the sea in a little village in the Atlantic. But then, a few days ago, they were all forced to evacuate as those sea mutants came and destroyed practically every inch of their town searching for someone. So, really, no soldiers, nobody. This is the worst war ever! I mean, this is like the worst undersea war I've ever seen in my life. Now she and her mother and dozens of others, including Queen Triton, were living secretly in the secret palace. And you guys are doing nothing to fight back. Why? Oh, they're monsters. Of course they're more powerful than King Triton, etc., etc., etc. Oh yeah, and I completely forgot. Silly me. First rule of Mike stories. No, correction. Probably 35th rule. If there is somebody out there that's stronger than you and more powerful than you, don't train and become stronger. Don't build up forces or build up alliances or try to do anything that will allow you to fight back against that person who is stronger than you. Instead, hide like a little coward and sit on your butt and hope and pray to God or your nearest deity that somehow, some way, you'll get a magical Deus Ex bullshit that comes out of nowhere to save you. Like, for instance, Endercorn mode to help save Lightning and his idiots. Or the element of magic to save Celestia while fighting Raven. Or Mega mode to save everybody's asses. Gee. And I wonder what would happen if we were to tell Goku that somebody out there was stronger than he is and he should run away. No way! I'm gonna kick his ass! Oh, sorry, wrong option. Luffy? Heh! I'm gonna send him flying. Naruto? You don't have any place around here to tell me where you stand. I'm gonna be better than you. Alright, what would happen with the Rangers? Alright, guys. Let's get together and figure out how to take this guy down. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot. The characters that I love and admire would actually take these guys down. Mike's characters don't. You can tell who I have more respect for. Attica! Ariel's heart gave a leap. My father's alive! Attica! Answered her. Yes, and he's very worried about you and your family. Okay. Who on earth programmed this spell checker to confuse your, as in you are, conjecture, and the ownership? Must be Microsoft Word 0.0 or something. Maybe 0.5? Maybe decimal point? Maybe 10 times e to the negative 3? I was also sent to find you and show you the way where they are. Eric and Melody could hardly believe all this. Eric and Samuel were happy for the ladies, but felt a little disappointed that they were supposedly not going. But Attica had brought with them a gift from Triton, a special pill that Eric was to take once he had gotten to the water. He wanted to turn into a merman, but it gave him the ability to survive in water, and he had this, and King Triton had this how long? What about me? Asked Samuel. Ariel and Eric thought it would be best if Samuel didn't come, but Melody insisted he come. After all of 10 seconds have passed by since he last met him, Perfect time to build up a trusting relationship! It would be a chance for him to see the new world. And meet more mer creatures like he always wanted. And Attica insisted too because he did help save her. Then again, I really shouldn't complain. They did meet for all 5 minutes, and that's possibly enough time as Philip and Aurora, Ariel and Eric articulated each other as to why Elodie wanted to come. What? Remarked Samuel, and the two of them suddenly gazing into each other's eyes again, quickly turned away. Aerosol sniggered cheekily. But now wasn't the time for making sport. Are you going for tennis? Nice game. The royal family dashed back to the palace to gather what little things they needed. That included fire and Sebastian. For Sir Samuel, he needed to grab a few things too. But in fact, he was using that excuse to retreat to the cave where the two generals were, and he scolded them badly. You've been bad boys. You've been bad boys. I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you. I'm sorry, I was cleaning my glasses, so I wasn't really reading what the real lines were. Are you two crazy? You almost shot me! I went to great lengths to get information about Attica! The generals quarreled again for not knowing their plan as it went before, but then broke it up. Look, kid, you just gotta keep it straight. Yeah, you give the Count what he wants, and he gives you what you want. You got it, added Electron. Fine. I don't like it one bit. Oh, boo-hoo, Angelicon mocked. Just do it. Didn't see an electrician swam off. Samuel gazed at the palace. It gazed at the wire, but still didn't like it. Especially since he managed to go travel with Melody and her family and meet actual merfolk. She really is amazing, he thought to himself. So why can't I stop thinking about her? Oh no, it can't be. I can't let it happen. Ah, shoot. Quick, man, take him out of solvency! This is the only way out!